Okay, and it is 6 p.m. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Let's get through it. Do you want to start or should I start?
Yeah, well, I'll just say welcome, everybody. Good to have you here. If you're watching live and if you're watching this back, then we'll have edited out all the rude parts, all the mistakes and swear words, so you're all good. I'll pass on to Pedro to give you his rundown, and then I will follow on with my tips for embracing movement, finding joy in exercise when you have lower back pain.
Yes, so welcome everybody who is watching live or afterwards. I'm Pedro, your physical health coach, and right next to me, yeah, Daryl, your emotional
Daryl,
health.
emotional health coach.
Okay, in today's live session, we want to talk about finding joy in movement, especially if you are experiencing lower back pain. Yeah. Um, all right. So let's get started. So I'm mostly excited to talk about with you about how movement can become a source of joy, even if your lower back pain makes you hesitant to move. So I know that when you're dealing with lower back pain, the very idea of moving can feel quite intimidating. And you might be thinking, what if I hurt myself? What if it gets worse? I get it, they're both valid. But today I want to share a different perspective, one that focuses on the incredible benefits or of even the smallest movements and how they can help you reclaim not just your mobility, but your happiness and confidence. Now, I want you to imagine your body as a vibrant garden. Yeah, when you neglect the garden, the plants wilt and the soil hardens. But with just a little water and a little bit of sunshine, that garden comes back to life. In the same way, even if your body feels stiff or painful, taking a few mini breaks throughout the day can help refresh your muscles, improve circulation, and slowly dissolve that fear of movement. So, a good trick for you that wants to find joy in movement, because movement is longevity, is something that we spoke about on the last session, which is taking mini breaks throughout the day. So just if, even if you can only take a couple minutes every hour, these little dosages of nourishment to your body is going to make you feel so much better. It's like you never regret doing a workout, but before you go, you just don't want to go. Yeah. So, for example, you're working, yeah, and you're busy. When you find some time, think about standing up, going for a walk. I don't know, doing a stretch, doing a strengthening exercises. This will not only help your muscles and your lower back pain, but it will basically send more oxygen and nutrients to the area that you are working on. So if you do experience lower back pain, it's really important that you focus on your hips and your core. But your muscles, it's they're not only receiving oxygen and nutrients, but because you're moving, because you're exercising, your body is triggering the release of endorphins. Your body's natural feel good hormones. So these endorphins work like a little burst of happiness, easing the pain and lifting your mood, which is going to help with your work too. And here's something really powerful. When you start to believe that you can move without fear, that belief open up so many new possibilities. It's like a gateway to a new life. Yeah. So it's not just about easing your pain, it's about rediscovering the freedom to do things you love. because we live only once. Yeah. And movement is what keeps us alive. Let me go. There you go. Better. Now, imagine being able to join a dance class or take a leisurely walk in the park or even just play with your kids without that lingering worry of back pain and at the top of your mind. Yeah. So movement can be that gateway, not just to physical fitness, but to new experiences and a renewed sense of possibilities. Because if you don't move, your body gets stuck in that one position and you avoid doing things that you love when your decision making is coming from a place of fear. So choosing to move is you deciding to move or to feel better. And that decision is coming from a place of empowerment because you know it's going to be better for you long term. Long term. Okay. So I want you to think of each little movement as a small victory, especially if you're not moving much. So every time you push through that mental barrier, that moment of hesitation, but you still move, you are building a foundation of confidence. And that confidence can spill over into every aspect of your life, encouraging you to try new things and embrace experiences you might have thought you were out of reach. So today my challenge for you it's simple. Start small. It's like people that want to run marathons, they don't start running 42 kilometers. Yeah. You start with one, and then you run two, and then you run 5Ks, and then eight, and then 10. So you build towards it. Make sense? So start small. Okay, whether it's just a gentle stretch at your desk, like the ones I showed you last live session, and like the ones I posted inside the group, or even a walk around your home. Yeah, anything counts. Maybe you just need to stand up and move for a minute every hour. Whatever makes you move. Small steps add up. Over time, they can transform not only your body, but your mindset as well. Okay. So, on those short daily breaks, it's really important that you focus on the strength and flexibility. Like I said in the beginning, when it comes to lower back pain, 8 or 9 out of 10 is because some muscles are working more than others. Some muscles are being overworked because other muscles are being underworked. These underworked muscles, um, they are on that position or they're not moving as they should due to muscular imbalances. So the way human movement works is like this. If I want to flex my biceps, yeah, if I want to bring my hand towards my shoulder, my biceps will contract and my triceps will extend. And that's true for every single joint on your body, yeah? Which means that if one muscle it's not working properly, it will affect the other. If one muscle on that chain is not working as it should, it will create a muscular imbalance. Okay. And if you are seated, if you're not moving due to pain, your muscles are getting deconditioned. They're not stretching, they're not contracting, there's no blood coming in. It's like when you wear a cast. You break your arm and you wear a cast. This analogy I said last live session, but when you wear a cast for I don't know 2 months, their arm, yeah, is going to get smaller. It's going to shrink because you're not really using it. So if you are experiencing lower back pain and you're not moving, you are deconditioning the muscles around your hips and your lower back. Now, imagine this analogy. A chain always breaks on the weakest link. And your lower back is the only link connecting your upper body to your lower body. If your hips are weak and tight, if your core is weak and tight in some muscles, what is in between? Your lower back. So that's why lower back issues are so common. So if you do want to take those breaks and you've been walking, I highly encourage you to do strength and stretch movements, focusing on the hips and on the lower back. Cool? Okay. Um, Now, when it comes to strength and flexibility, yeah, especially surrounding your hips and your core, will not only help with your lower back pain, but you are basically building a strong body for the future you. This is longevity, taking actions now that's going to make your life in the future easier. Because what's the goal? Is to feel good, pain free, so you can enjoy life. Yeah. If you don't have time, make time. Yeah. If you don't make time during health, you would have to make time when you are not well. And your lower back pain is just your body trying to communicate with you. So listen to it. Yeah. If you're not sure where to go and what to do, join our community. We are here to help. There's so much noise on the internet, and we want to be the filter. It's not like you shouldn't trust everything that everyone says, especially not what we say. But we want to give you all the tools so you can think for yourself. Okay. So remember, movement is not about perfection or intensity. It's about joy. It's about celebrating what your body can do and reclaim your freedom to live a life full of happiness, of vitality, and make sure pain is not part of your journey. Okay? Every little step towards a more vibrant and empowered you counts. Now, I see a lot of people saying, I just don't have time. The pain is so bad that I need a quick fix. And you rely on pills, rely on gadgets. That's cool. If it helps you, it helps you. But just know that this is not a long term solution. Yeah. So, exercise the natural way is a long term. So, that's why it takes longer. Make sense? So, anyway, so that's me for today. I want to let Daryl talk. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think I said everything I was meant to say. Again, if you have any questions, please, you can just write down on the comments. I will come back to you as soon as I can. You can join the community. You have free access to us. And yeah, let's stop guessing. Let's know what works and what doesn't work for us so we can make better informed decisions. All right, enough of me talking. Daryl, you're on.
Cool. Thanks, Pedro. Yeah, that's just going to make us all a bit more confident moving, isn't it? And I think if you want to be joyful when you exercise, if you want to embrace movement, embrace the fun in the movement, having confidence and not being scared because you know you're doing it right, or at least you've got your best guess that you're doing it right, is going to be helpful. So, from an emotional point of view, how do we do it? How do we find joy in movement? Well, let's start with why should we bother? Like, why bother to enjoy it? Why not just power through? Well, you should make an effort to find joy in movement because your mind learns through emotion. So if you want to make exercise a habit, if you want to make stretching or working out a habit, walking a habit, you have to move from it being something that you have to think about, have to plan, have to go and do, to being something that you just do. Okay, and your subconscious mind, this is the part that makes your heart beat. This is where your beliefs are stored. Your subconscious mind is responsible for forming habits, and it doesn't respond to logical directives. You can't just say, subconscious mind, make me work out every day. And it's going to go, okay, and just prompt you to do it. Because if that were the case, then we'd always do everything that we thought we had to do. Your subconscious mind responds to emotion and experience. So if you rely on willpower alone, just getting up and making yourself move, then exercise can really feel like a struggle. Your mind thinks it's discomfort, it links it to discomfort, and it creates resistance. You have to push through resistance. On days you're run down, on days you're tired, mentally fatigued, on those days you will not have enough willpower to do what you need to do. So, making movement enjoyable is going to create subconscious motivation. This means you're going to find yourself wanting to do something instead of forcing yourself. Remember, pleasure equals lasting change. So, when exercise is enjoyable, your subconscious stores it as a positive experience, a positive memory. It makes it easy to repeat that because when you think about it, your brain goes, oh, yeah, that was fun. Let's do that. Your subconscious is motivated to do it again. Instead of having an struggle, oh, I should do it, but I'm tired and I don't want to, or I've got this other thing to do, movement will become something that you actually crave. It can really be something that you crave if you enjoy it, not just endure. So, how does that work? Well, when you move in a way that feels good, your brain releases dopamine. So, this is your brain's inbuilt reward system, as well as pleasure molecules. Dopamine is released and it reinforces any pleasurable experience. It tells your brain, this felt great, let's do it again. So, some people think of dopamine as the reward molecule because it's released when we do something rewarding. But I think of it as the do it again molecule. So other rewarding neurotransmitters and hormones can be released. But when dopamine is released, our brain remembers what we did to get it and it wants to do it again. So each time you finish movement feeling good, dopamine is going to be released and your brain is going to say, do it again. Your brain is going to link exercise with pleasure and it's going to make the behavior easier to repeat. The more positive experiences you have, the more your brain will automate your desire. So you're not suddenly just going to spring up out of bed and exercise all on your own, but your brain is going to go, oh, it's time now to motivate this person to want to move. The desire is going to be automatic. This will make your exercise feel effortless. It's going to make it feel automatic. So this is going to create a habit, right? That's what a habit is, a habit loop where you just do things automatically. Conversely, pushing too hard can work against you. So if you overdo it, say you push too hard with exercise until you get into pain or you get into exhaustion, if you do this, then your brain is going to shift. And instead of releasing dopamine and saying, do it again, it's going to release stress chemicals. And this is going to wire your brain that exercise is something to dread and avoid instead of something enjoyable. Now, if there's any of you that had a bad experience at school where you felt a bit embarrassed, maybe that's familiar, or maybe you've pushed yourself until you felt sick or you were sore. Maybe that's familiar. We can write over these memories with new positive memories by making sure our movement feels good in the future. The key is if you can stop while exercise is still feeling good, or do something that feels good right after exercise. So end on a positive note, and that's going to keep the dopamine, do it again, flowing. It's going to strengthen a habit loop. And over time, your brain will crave movement. It's going to make exercise something you really look forward to, and you won't need willpower. So, what does enjoyable exercise look like? Well, mainly I'm going to leave this to Pedro in the VITA method to explain to you, but in a nutshell, moving in a way that feels good. It's as simple as that, right? Just you've designed the movements that when people are doing them, they're never pushing too far. You're talking to different levels of ability. So when people do it, you can all have a sense of achievement. You don't have to be perfect at every movement each time. It's about progress, what feels right for your body. So whether that's gentle stretching or whether it's something different like walking or doing movements in water or simply just changing your position on a chair. It's all about noticing what feels good. There's no perfect way for you to move. There's only what works for you in this present moment. So you're going to have to listen to your body's signals, start paying attention, which I know is really difficult when our bodies feel so uncomfortable to pay attention, but really notice when movement does feel soothing or when it feels energizing versus when it starts to feel like effort. The key is to stop before there's too much discomfort. So your brain can link movement with relief, with enjoyment, with satisfaction. Remember, ending on a positive note reinforces a habit. So try to finish with something that feels good. Even if it's after the exercise, even that's a deep stretch or a slow breath or taking a moment to appreciate just how the movement has made you feel better. But if you're still struggling, I've got 10 tips to help you find joy in movement. Okay. So this is specifically if you've got back pain, but it's going to work for everyone. Number one is to reframe movement as self care. So, not thinking of it as a task you have to do, it's something you get to do to look after yourself, to pamper yourself. Shift from viewing exercise as a chore that you should do to seeing it as an act of kindness. In hypnosis, we call this reframing. Okay, so you reframe exercise and movement as self care. If you want to stop for a second, grab a pen and paper, or you can come back and watch this on YouTube or in the Back Pain Relief Hub, I'm going to give you some things you can write down. I'll just give you a little second. And these are going to be affirmations and some questions that you're going to be able to ask yourself and journal on later. So I'll just give you 10 seconds to go and grab something. You can type some notes on your phone, or again, this is recorded, you can come back and watch it. So here's some questions. If any of these resonate with you, if you're finding it difficult, the idea of reframing movement as self-care because it's just so ingrained that it's a task and it's hard and it's something you have to do, try asking yourself these questions. What if I could feel grateful for what my body could do? What would that be like? If you don't want to write it down, you can just visualize it now. What would it be like if I could feel grateful for what my body could do? What would that be like? But if you've got the time and you want to take it, go away tonight, tomorrow, on the weekend, and just journal about that. Make a little story about it. The more detail you put, the more real it is for your brain, and the more it will reframe movement for you going forward. Another question is, if you really started to enjoy exercise, what would that feel like? What would it feel like if you really started to enjoy exercise? Another question is, why is it important to care about myself? Could be a bit confronting. Why is it important to care about myself? So think about these, think about going and journaling about them, or just asking yourself the question and giving yourself some silence to turn it over in your mind later on. This will help you reframe movement as self care instead of a task. Okay, so the second tip is what Pedro said, microdose your movement, start with small steps, really simple. Start with gentle stretching, walking, or even just standing up and swaying. Small, consistent movements strengthen brain pathways. They make exercise feel easier over time. Overwhelmed by doing too much, remember, it's going to cause stress and it can stop progress. So get small wins. This is going to create motivation. Number three is make movement fun and playful. So incorporate play into what you do. You can do a bit of dancing or listen to your favorite music or make a little game when you walk. If you're walking with a friend, you can play some word games. Any way that you can think of to make movement fun. When you have fun, remember, dopamine is released, and this helps you associate movement with pleasure and want to do it again. You might want to write down this affirmation and say it back to yourself later. I imagine movement as an expression of joy. I imagine movement as an expression of joy. And if you collect some affirmations, just say them to yourself 5, 10 times and imagine what it would be like if that were true as you say it. This makes affirmations powerful. Imagine movement as an expression of joy, or as an expression of play, or as an expression of freedom. Pick a word that means something to you and turn that over. Number 4, move mindfully. Connect with your body. Tune into the sensations while you're doing the movement, the stretch, the breath, how easy the movement is. This is a form of mindfulness, and mindfulness lowers stress hormones and it increases dopamine and serotonin. This is going to make movement feel more enjoyable, and again, it's going to make you want to do it again. Number 5, activate your brain's reward system early. So you can finish with a feel good movement, but you can also start with a feel good movement. Starting every exercise with something easy and enjoyable, like warm up music or a long deep breath, as well as finishing on with dopamine from a positive note. You can get dopamine early on, which again helps motivate you. Dopamine means do it again. You're training your brain to want to do it again. You can enhance this positive feedback loop by telling yourself this hypnotic affirmation: as I move, I notice how good it feels. Just tell yourself, as I move, I notice how good it feels. If you want to write that down, to remember to say it to yourself 5 or 10 times. You can say it while you're actually moving, or you can rehearse it while you're just sitting or lying down and imagine moving. You're training your brain for the future. As I move, I notice how good it feels. Or, it feels good to start small and build up. It feels good to create momentum. The key to affirmations being successful is to make it sound good to you. So change any of the words you want to make it feel good to you. Number 6, ways to find joy in movement is use visualization to feel motivated. So that's what we've been doing with the affirmation. You see, visualizing yourself moving with ease and joy before you begin exercise is going to help you to want to do it. Research shows that if you visualize going through a task, completing the task and finishing it and feeling good, this enhances your motivation and it makes it more likely that you will do it. Okay, so visualize going through the movements that you're going to make, the exercise, whatever it is you're going to do, and finishing it. This will motivate you and make you feel good. A hypnotic affirmation you could use is something like, I feel myself enjoying movement, or I feel lighter and more energized with every step. And you say that as you visualize yourself going through it. I feel myself enjoying the movement. I love the movement. The movement feels awesome. You can even put in your own flavor with a bit of humor. Number 7, link movement to personal goals. Okay, this is a really, really big one. Remember, your brain has a reward system, but it's not just activated by simple pleasures. It's also activated by doing things that are profoundly meaningful to you. So think about linking the movement that you're making to goals. Now, if you've got back pain and your movement's going to has been restricted, this is going to be more easy. The more personal you make the goal, the more personal you make that linkage to the movement, the more profound the result will be. One example would be, I need to move so that I can help the kids, play with the kids, so that I can lift the kids up easily. I want to be able to exercise so that I can go for a hike when I'm on vacation. So that when I'm on holiday, I can walk around all day and not get too tired or not get too sore. Whatever's meaningful for you. One thing, if you don't know what's meaningful for you, so you think, oh, I don't know, I kind of do what I want to do, ask yourself this question: what gets me out of bed in the morning? And don't say like your cat or paying your bills. Think something deeper. Think, so I can help people, so I can see my children thrive, so I can be a success for my family. Whatever your deeper reasons are, think on these, turn these over in your mind and link them to your goal. I'm moving so that I can help people. I'm moving so that I can see my children thrive. I'm moving so I can be successful and help my family. I'm moving so that I can be free of pain and I can hike while I'm on vacation. Okay, just got a couple more. Number 8, another way to find joy in movement is to break the stress pain cycle. Now, we focused on this in previous lives and we're going to focus on it as we go through. But in a nutshell, gentle movement, so not going too hard out, is going to release endorphins, as Pedro says, and GABA. And what this is going to do is it's going to calm the nervous system. This is going to reduce your sensitivity to pain, and it's going to make you feel better straight away. It's also going to relieve release dopamine, which is going to make you want to do it again. Okay, so break the stress pain cycle by choosing movements that calm the nervous system. And Pedro has carefully crafted the movements in Vita to work in alignment with this. Okay, an affirmation that you might want to say to yourself might be, I feel stress melt away as I move. So you're linking the feeling of stress removing to the movements that you're doing. Or each breath brings ease and relief to my body. Or the more I stretch, the more relaxed I feel. The more I move, the more peaceful I feel. Pick something that feels good to you in alignment with this. Write it down, say it 5 or 10 times while you imagine moving, or do it while you're moving. The more I stretch, the more relaxed I feel. Now, similar to pairing it with meaning, you can also pair movement with something you love. Okay, so think about listening to music, hanging out with a friend. Maybe you do your exercises with a friend together. Maybe chatting. Maybe listening to an audiobook. So pairing movement with something you love, a sport that you love, obviously, then that's going to again get those circuits making new habits. Pairing something with movement releases what? Pairing movement with joy or something you love releases what? Dopamine, okay? And when you have dopamine, the brain wants to what? Do it again. Yep, you've got it. Okay. So something as an affirmation could be, moving with joy feels easy. Moving with joy feels natural. Or I love moving. I find ways to move with joy. I enjoy finding new ways to enjoy moving. I find it easy to find new ways to enjoy moving. Get some affirmations, write them down 5 or 10 times, visualizing it. You getting it? Okay, and the last one is to celebrate progress, not perfection. Try to have small celebrations after each session to reinforce the positive behavior, especially in the beginning. If you're the kind of person who hasn't been moving very much or is trying to increase your exercise, try to give yourself that reward. It could be something simple like just going outside and taking a break. It could be doing some painting or a hobby that you enjoy. It could be listening to a song that you like or having a small treat. Just giving yourself a bit of reward. It's going to anchor in the feeling of success, and it's going to tell your brain, do it again. Celebrating success releases dopamine, reinforcing habits. And when you've reinforced the habit over and over and over in all these different ways, or even just one way, it's going to be so much more easy to move and it's going to be so much more enjoyable. Here's an affirmation for you. It could be something like, I feel a sense of achievement after each movement. So you're not waiting for success after each movement. I know that completing movements moves me towards joy and health, or I know that exercise moves me towards joy and health. Every step forward is proof that movement can bring joy, or every small step moves me towards my goals. I celebrate getting things done. I don't have to be perfect. I celebrate getting things done. My goal is progress, not perfection. So pick something meaningful to you, write it down, say it 5 or 10 times while you visualize doing the movements. This will train your brain in advance and make it much more easy and enjoyable to move. Remember, the key message here is that emotion creates brain change, okay? So try to make every time you move special. However you do it, try to make movement a really joyful part of your life. The Vita Method is packed full of ways to do this, okay? So join the Back Pain Relief Hub if you've got questions or if you want to share some ideas. Maybe you're like, okay, those ideas are okay, but I have some better ones. Brilliant. We want to hear them. Come put them in the Back Pain Relief Hub and then we can share them with everyone. And that's me for tonight. So thank you very much, Pedro.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Thank you for sharing this. I am sure whoever is watching now have a different perspective on their pain and on that movement. I heard this the other day. What was it like? Emotion is feelings in energy, emotion, or So anyway, so movement, it's something that you have to do for the rest of your life if you want to live well. Yeah. So overcoming that barrier, the earlier the better. Again, you're not alone. We are here to help join our back relief pain, back pain relief hub, you can get in touch with us. We crafted courses for free, so you can act on it. And yeah, if you are ready to change, we are here to help you. Thank you for joining or watching,
Awesome.
and I'll see you on the next live session.
Thanks, Pedro. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you next week.
See you next week. And